This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is David Lenegas, the Executive Chairman of Vinanz plc, following news that the company have increased its mining fleet in Nebraska with the addition of the S21 Bitmain Antminer Pro 234, the most efficient miners on the market today. Well, thank you very much for your time as always. David, how are you?
Mate, I'm really good. I'm enjoying mining Bitcoin. I'm a mining engineer who normally mines things like gold and diamonds and copper. Mining Bitcoin, it's a great change.
Great. Well, I know last time we spoke about you indeed having plans to increase the mining capacity and fleet. Of course, you recently raised some money, so it looks like indeed you're doing it. You've increased to a total of 4.9 petahash per second. That's the hashing power. But I think
Nebraska's up to 4.9 petahash. It varies a lot. I had a look this morning and it's up to 5.1. Each machine performs differently every second of the day. So, Canada's now up to sort of close to 40 plus petahash. Okay. We've got Iowa, India. So across the fleet, I haven't looked at the latest numbers, but I don't know, we could be up around 60 or 70 petahash. And I remember the days when we first started about a year and a half ago, we'd be lucky to be at 1 petahash. So, the business has grown quite substantially in a year and a half since we listed.
Yeah. How many new of these miners have you installed in Nebraska?
Right. So we bought 10 for Canada a while ago, but they were the 200 terahash. They were very efficient, but not as efficient as these. And we've just done our first initial order just for trial in Nebraska. And these are the S21 Pro 234 terahash machines. And the key to this is the efficiencies. It's 15 joules per terahash, watts per terahash. And that means that even though you're still running at 3,500 kilowatt or 3,500 watts per Bitcoin miner, which is a lot of power consumption, you're actually processing huge amounts of the calculation for the algorithm, and therefore the profitability per miner is really quite extraordinary. So at our power price in Texas at about 6.5 US cents, with the efficiency of these machines at today's Bitcoin price, our operating costs are fixed at about $160 per month per miner, and we're making about $120 per month per miner net profit.
Profit. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the whole idea. Is as we expand our fleet, we're always going for the latest and greatest and most efficient. So that, eventually, as the Bitcoin price does begin to move, and the market's expecting anything from 10x to 20x in the next 3 to 4 years, our costs are fixed and our revenue will go through the roof. Okay. So that's our sort of main objective, and this is our first, 15 joules per terahash machines in North America. We're pretty excited.
Yeah, okay, so it's getting more and more efficient. So that 15 joules per terahash, that compares to what from before?
Well, I think there's probably one unit in the world that might be comparable or slightly more efficient by about 0.1 or 0.2%. But if you look at our the last lot of S21s that we bought, they're probably just sub 20 joules per terahash. It complements our fleet in Nebraska already, which is running at about 23 joules per terahash, and they're running at a profit. In fact, if we look at our portfolio across Indiana, Iowa, Canada, Texas, Nebraska, pretty much all of our units are doing well on a P&L basis. Of course, we'd like the Bitcoin price to start moving northwards a lot sooner than it is at the moment. But the portfolio is looking very healthy.
Good. So certainly in Nebraska there, you're making effectively a net profit, as you say, of $112 per month.
It's a 40% margin. If you look at it in margins perspective, we're looking at about a 40% margin on each machine we buy.
Yeah.
That's pretty outstanding.
And how long are your costs fixed for in Nebraska?
3 years.
Right. Okay. So you've got projected costs.
Yeah, a lot about each data center hosting agreement we have varies, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You want to try and lock in a reasonable forward period so you can budget pretty well. We don't want to go any longer than that because power prices do fluctuate, and as the world economy hopefully improves, power prices will drop. If Donald Trump gets into America, Bitcoin price will go through the roof and energy costs will drop a lot. And, so you don't want to be too stuck in long-term contracts, which is why our model sort of works quite well for us, is that, as we expand, we go into new states, new hosting providers, new contracts, new long-term contracts, and we just make sure that the fleet that we're always mobilizing is the best we can put into play.
Okay. So you're positioning then in a good position now where the current Bitcoin price is, but really expecting quite a big uptick here. I mean, it's a strategy to continue to sort of keep scaling up and improving efficiency and locking in good power prices. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm in the Bitcoin going to $1 million club, and it's a matter of when it's going to do that. I mean, if Van Eck, CEO, one of the biggest groups in America, one of the biggest funds in America, I mean, their model for Bitcoin in this halving cycle is somewhere between $350,000 and $2.9 million a coin. So, we're just continually, expanding. So, but the other bit of news is we're seeing a bit of volume starting to come into our stock in America at the moment through our VINDF, as they call it over there. So we're actually probably seeing more liquidity and more number of trades coming in to our share activity in the States than we are in Aquis here in London. So, it's all about getting the message out that we exist, and
interest is picking up. That's good to hear. So just taking that figure you said there, that estimate, 332, 2.1, did you say?
Well, that's the Van Eck CEO is saying their modelling says somewhere between 350,000 and 2 point, and some of their models even are pointing as high as 2.9 million a coin.
Okay.
In this halving cycle. This halving cycle's 4 years, typically about 4 years.
Sure. So if we take the lower of that, just to be pessimistic,
that's a 6x from where we sit right now.
And what does that mean? What would that mean to Vinanz?
Our profit our margins would be like 80%. I mean, it'd be phenomenal. So, we're a profitable miner. We've got no debt. Our costs are pretty fixed, and the higher the Bitcoin price goes, the more money we make, and the more our shareholders get a great exposure to having a portfolio that's component that sort of sits in the Bitcoin sector. And there aren't many in England, I can tell you.
Yeah, no, that's right. Well, thank you very much for your time. David Lenegast, the Executive Chairman of Vinanz PLC.
Great. Thanks, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.